Hey, Thrand here.
Hail, this is Eldgrim.
And we are here today with a very special book that was sent to us by Varg from ThuleanPerspective. MYFAROG, Mythic Fantasy Role-Playing Game. And it's an excellent name for this book. I was intrigued by it when I noticed that he had a game like this, and I watched some videos on it because he did a lot of historical research, even though it is a fantasy game or a mythic fantasy game. And a lot of the old mythos is in here, the runes, the lore. Everything. It's a very Viking-based or Scandinavian-based game. I shouldn't say Viking, but Scandinavian. But you also have Bronze Age. You have Iron Age. You have people who actually use chert and
they have hunter-gatherers.
Yeah, hunter-gatherers. Like it's a good world. I like what he's done with it. What I've seen. I haven't got to read as much as Eldgrim, but we nominated Eldgrim as the Myth Master. That's what the Game Master is called in this game. He's called the Myth Master. So I've been reading through the book, so I'm familiar with it, but I'm letting him run the game because I'm the one who always is the Dungeon Master, the Game Master, what have you, and I always make the worlds and control everything, and you don't really get to experience as well. This is such an excellent game. I want to actually be able to sit back and experience it, and we want to come back later and actually have a game and show highlights of it, and play test it. We want to actually play. We want to play it anyway, just to play it. But I would say it's kind of like a play testing of it to give us our true opinion of how we feel about the mechanics. I mean, there's blood loss in here. He's gone to all kinds of trouble to test all these arms, armor, weapons, and even research them. He didn't just sit there as back in the day and do it all academically. I mean, he actually hands-on analysis. Yes, he's hands-on testing. Yeah. That's why he's even done a reply to us about the plumbata, the old dart. You know, where it's actually like a javelin, but it has frets on it, and that's in the book, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
as well.
And it sure is.
And the rock throwing.
He got us to test the rock throwing in a video, so yeah, that's also in here.
He's been doing research for years, and some of it even by watching other people's videos, by hands-on testing, by actual historical research, and from actual sources, like old sagas, old stories, old myths. So he tried to be more accurate to, in some ways, even though it's fantasy, he tried to be more accurate to some of the old tales and stuff. So I think it's an excellent book.
Right, I do too. And
what is your impression of it? Because you've got to read more than I have.
You know, I normally don't like to be Game Master or Dungeon Master, but we got this in the mail yesterday. Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I come home from work, and Thrand tells me we have Varg's role-playing game, and I said I want to take a look at it. I want to read it. You know, I want to read a few chapters. And I got so engrossed and so captivated by this that I was up all night reading it. And for once, I actually want to be the game master for a game. And I tell you, this game has got so many features in it that I find just... okay, character classes are so common in so many RPGs. Pen and paper RPGs, classes. So you're bound to this class. Where Varg has gone to great lengths to create character roles, and you can assume many roles as a single character. You can be a warrior, you can be a sorcerer, as long as your race and your gender and all that and your life path allows it. Now, this game is very in depth.
Class.
Oh yeah, very in depth. Great.
They have blood loss.
Yeah,
you can actually bleed to death. Correct.
Right, that's right. But there are tools to help you prevent, those things such as, of course, armor and stuff, but also healing abilities. And we're not talking just about magical.
Fantasy. It's not totally that real. If it was pure reality, it would be, I guess, almost nerve-wracking to play it.
Now, this game is set in the land of Thule, and it's sort of like Scandinavia. In fact, even the map looks a lot like Scandinavia.
With fjords and...
That's right. It's got the fjords and all that. It's got several races of man, which is what you will play, and they're Yarnmotter, Iron Man, and there are different sub races of that you can play in the game, and all of them have different social attributes, religious attributes.
Yes.
Right. Now in this game, gender matters, your birth date matters. So many aspects that we took for granted in games like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff matter. Even being a priest in this game and asking a deity to help you is a much more involved. It's a very involved process in this game. And so I like that about it because, you know, we used to take it for granted to cast Cure Light Wounds or to cast
or
Command.
get aid from a deity
or cast Bless or something. You know, we took it for granted. You just
somebody
did it.
Throw a fireball or a lightning bolt. This boom.
Right.
Yeah.
In this game, it's not like that. There's so much that goes into it. You're so involved with the process of making these actions occur. Combat in this game is developed in such a way that it's actually pretty simple to do. It's not like Dungeons and Dragons or other stuff we
what
played.
I've heard that if you want to, you could play it as simplistically as possible.
That's right.
For you have smaller children playing or something. Let's say if you had teenagers or something playing that weren't really into it.
It's interesting that you bring that up.
Or you could be really advanced and very complicated and very complex.
And it's interesting that you bring up children.
Rules and,
because this game was developed by Varg at ThuleanPerspective. He developed this game specifically for his son as an educational tool.
Right.
So that explains why there's so much historical data in here that's accurate. But, you know, it's still set in the fantasy world, you know, and so you got your sorcery, you've got deities, you've got, you know, swords and armor and enchanted
all the stuff
weapons.
we're used to in that kind of game that we love.
But
that keeps us from being, like I said, too realistic.
You're going to like this, though, Thrand. Enchanted weapons in this game aren't like they are in any other games we've ever played. They're done by putting runes on certain objects.
Oh, Harold, there you go. That's very solid.
And that's even a very involved process. Certain runes have to be put on certain objects, specific objects.
Correct.
And they have to be activated in a specific set of conditions. So this game, your character's kind of born too when you develop your character.
Right, I got you.
You're sort of birthed into this
life. World, and
yeah. Well, I mean, of course, you're you know, between 15 and 20 years old, but your character is born into his life position, into his
what he does, who he is,
where he's from, everything, and you roll for so much of that. And at first, you think, oh, but that restricts me. But you know, I find it more and more interesting. The combinations of things that can happen as you develop this character by rolling for it. And
one of the points I liked about it when I asked if I could get a copy was he did something like, he was inspired by Lord of the Rings and those type of stories, but he actually, I think, did more research and tried to make the Alpha or the elves and all the stuff more accurate to his history.
That's right. He says that in the book.
Right. Instead of making it the fantasy so much, he tried to make it more historically accurate, even though it is a fantasy game, of course. Yeah.
So in this game, you will not see dwarves and elves and halflings and stuff as you would in your traditional tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons and other such games.
They do have dragons in there, though.
They do. They have ettins. And now in this world, Thule is just a very small inhabitable area of the entire world. Most of it's uninhabitable because of the ettins.
Oh, so I see. It's like prehistory. This is a prehistory type game. Yeah.
And technology is not well developed. It's not to say it's underdeveloped. It's just not very well developed.
Or it's its own world, pretty much. That's probably
and it's sorcery that keeps the world from developing technology past where it's at. Because, I mean, you know, you got to figure, if you've got sorcery, why do you need the technology that we understand?
Right, you wouldn't. I mean, if you had some other method, it is a form of technology.
Right. So
magic becomes technology.
This game is incredible, guys. If you get a chance, I believe Bard.
He's sending you his own card. He autographed this one to me, but he's sending you your own.
Right now, yeah, you'll see here that this has been autographed to Thrand, and
he's gonna send you one as well.
That's right. This is the version 1.2. And I've asked Varg, and he's agreed to send me the version 1.3 with some corrections in it.
I noticed a lot of the corrections. I hate to say it, but I was looking at some of the stuff. It doesn't make a big difference. So don't freak out if you got a different copy.
And
there's a little difference, but it's not. And he also shows the updates online, I think.
Yes, he does. And you know, he does have a website. He has tutorials to help you out.
Oh, did you show the map?
Oh, no, the map is actually right next to you. So.
Oh, okay, I can pop that up. And we're taking a long time on this because it's a lot.
I know, it's so exciting. You know, I can't wait to play this game.
But this is the actual world here. And hopefully everybody can see that.
I mean, it does look a lot like Scandinavia, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and the ideas of it, yeah.
Well,
fjords and the rivers and so on.
I would hate to spoil it for anybody else that buys this and reads it, because I don't want to go on and just tell them the whole book.
But we want to actually game test it or play it play test it, and we want to set at an actual table and record some of it, see how it turns out, and give
Right.
you our full opinion, because we won't know until we actually really try the system out firsthand.
I'm telling you, from reading it, I have a really,
from doing
really
that, yes,
good feeling.
yeah,
I have a really good feeling
it's
about
a
how
good
this
one.
is going to play. So, thank you, Varg, so much for
If you're into
introducing it.
Scandinavian history, if you're in, I mean, even though it's not complete, it's fantasy, but if you're into that sort of thing, and
How about saying classical Europe?
Right.
Like
because
Europe of
he
antiquity.
has stuff that's very much antiquity. You have the Bronze Age, you have the Iron Age.
Mhm.
It doesn't go quite into, it doesn't go up into the plate era though.
No, it does not.
Right, it's not
It
going to be
sort of
later
stops
century
at-
Renaissance. It's going to be early period. I mean, the
the
setting.
best way to describe it is that it stops sort of around the rise of the Dark Ages. Maybe just before that. Before
Our favorite time period, around the 9th century type idea.
Maybe a bit earlier than that, but yeah, it's about that idea. So the culture's the same. The kings and lords and the freemen and the thralls and all that are all
Thralls.
reminiscent of classical Europe of antiquity. So go out, get a copy of this, play it, let us know what you think, and be sure you let Varg over at ThuleanPerspective, that's YouTube channel ThuleanPerspective, let him know that what you think about this game. Personally, I endorse it. I can't wait to jam out
It's
on
very
this.
interesting. Once you get into it, it's very, very interesting. I've been reading it too,
Yep.
but I haven't had as much time. I've had a lot of the stuff going on. But
Yep. Well, anyway, Varg, again, thank you, Shield Brother.
thank you so much,
And thank you for watching.
and farewell.
Farewell.